Books. Books are such a wonderful avenue to travel down, and especially when working on your imagination. Books somehow are able to tap into that imaginative quality that is in you that you really don't pay attention to. And something people say, oh, it's just nonsense. Leave it alone. Don't bother with imagination. Come back to reality and live in the real world. Books are a wonderful way, any type of book, everything from comic books to the most magnificently well-written, well-spoken, well-edited, well-crafted book that literature has given to us and allowed us to explore using imagination. It is the one avenue you could travel down to help grow your imagination, to train your imagination, to help you with visualization, to help you with the things you need to actually tap into to create the world around you. Books, and not strictly just pointing to, let's say, a holy book, a spiritual book of any kind, but any type of book. Your poets are prophets. Our singers and our songwriters are prophets. They leave messages that are being poured out from within themselves. And more often than not, it's the revealing of the spirit that is within them. Music, lyrics, poetry, short stories, great big long novels, novellas, anything that will help inspire your imagination and will help you train how to use your imagination and visualization is a wonderful, wonderful tool to have at an early age under your belt. Because later on, as you grow older, and let's say you come into a spiritual awakening and you start noticing synchronicities and all of the other things around you that are producing an effect of change within you and also revealing itself on the outside, conforming to what is in you. At an early age, this tool can help you when you come to that stage in your life, because you'll have what is needed to understand visualization, to visualize the things you want and know that you are creating them through your visualization. The other thing is to understand your imagination and how to apply imagination in your spiritual growth, because imagination is spirituality. That is what the world is constantly fighting against. That is what the world says is not beneficial to you, but is a downfall to you. Imagination is God, Jesus Christ, Spirit, Holy Spirit, Creator, light, energy, consciousness. All of it is imagination. And when you have the imagination to put yourself in these positions or states of consciousness, you will see that you are a great and wonderful power. Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Talk. This is Nick. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining me. Again, I don't need to repeat this all the time, but please feel free, leave comments. Maybe you hear something that you don't like, or maybe want to correct me, or maybe want to add to what I'm saying. You can leave comments down below, or you can reach out to the email there at the beginning. There is no charge. My channel is not monetized. It will never be monetized. I don't charge anyone for anything. I'm here to help. I was freely given these experiences that I share with you, right or wrong, good or bad or indifferent. I don't know. I'm not here to tell you that this is the way, but here to help as much as I can. Therefore, I don't ask for a fee or anything like that. I wouldn't even know where to begin to do something like that. In the last episode, I wanted to share 2 books with you, but I only got around to sharing the one book that I truly love, and that is the Bible. Right now, it seems to be the only book that I read, and I'm not reading it as frequently as I used to, because I understand the message in this book, as you will too. As you evolve and you grow spiritually, you will too. And you will see that your experiences, your revelation, your mystical experiences, if you are using the Bible, you will find them all in here. And you will realize that it is you that comes in the volume of the book, that it is written of you. as it says in Psalm 40, verse 7. But I didn't get around to the second book. And as I said, I don't visit this book very often, but this book still continues to give me experiences and revelations, and that is my spirit, and that will be your spirit as it evolves and grows. But I highly recommend this book. But if you're not ready to jump into a book like this right now, you probably will when you have a couple of dream experiences, dream revelations, visions, stuff like that. You probably might want to open up this pages. And if you come from a religious background, as I've said so many times, you'll be surprised at what you can find in here, because you could flip through this book your whole life and never see it. And, let's say we had the ability to live, as flesh and blood for a long period of time, like say 1,000 years. You could flip through this book for 1,000 years and never see it. But you will see it when the time is right. And when the time is right, that is your appointed time. That is your awakening. But if you're not ready to, open this book yet, take a look at this book. If you're not ready to experience God in this way, as a testimony of all the short stories that have been left here for us, because they're all testimonies of people who have experienced God, then let's just jump into the second book that I couldn't get to the other day in the last video. At Your Command, the Law and the Promise. This is a book that is invaluable. It is important in the reading process and helping your imagination. And I highly recommend this also as a book, a prequel, if you will, to the Bible. I think this is one book that will help you greatly to understand how to manifest, but more than that, it will help you grow spiritually in the sense of understanding the law and the promise, which Neville talks about. I got this book at a bookstore one day, and before I got this book, I believe I got this in 2023, but I had been familiar with Neville's lectures. I had been familiar with At Your Command. There's lots of YouTube videos of people reading it and whatnot, doing a reading of it, I should say, a narration. And I was very familiar with it. But when I saw it in the bookstore, I decided that, you know what, I want to have a copy of this at home. I was already familiar with it, and I cannot tell you the benefit that this book was to me. Up until this book, or you know what, I shouldn't say this book, but up until I heard the lectures, Neville's lectures, and especially the narrations of At Your Command, I realized that I was doing manifestation wrong. I realized that I was still using my reasoning faculties when it came to manifestation. And the reasoning faculties will also mislead you and also sometimes frustrate you with your manifestations. When they come into your life, you may lose them just as quickly, or you know what, they may take forever for you to come. And again, as I said, that is all a growing process. But I had these tools in the form of lectures and YouTube videos that really showed me how to manifest properly. And I highly recommend this book. This book is a wonderful stepping stone to growing spiritually. Maybe before you had a spiritual awakening, before you have a spiritual awakening, I should say, you may want to investigate this book, for it will prepare you for what is to come, especially with the law and especially with the promise. At Your Command can be used, but use it wisely. Use what Neville says in this book wisely, and do it from a place of love. Do it as you wish done unto you by others, And I don't know. I just think that this is a very important book, and it is necessary in a sense to help you develop those skills for manifesting, and not only that, to help you grow spiritually. Books are a wonderful tool, as I said, and I come from an old school mentality where books were paperbacks and hardcovers and magazines and comic books and penny dreadfuls and whatnot, right? That's like where I come from. They weren't tablets that you hold in your hand that could easily distract you. I find that that is a distraction nowadays, especially if your tablet is your phone, because your notifications will go off, they'll distract you, you'll forget about reading, and you'll want to wander off into either a social media world or a social world where your friends are contacting you and whatnot. And yes, I am addressing a lot of the younger people here too. I'm not exquisitely keeping this channel to older people like myself. I want the younger people to get on board and get familiar with what they truly are. Because I truly think that the greatest thing a young person could do is understand their spiritual nature and start growing and evolving in it at a young age and using it to transform their life and change their outcome. But have experiences of it. Don't just go by concepts that you read in a book, because spiritual concepts are out there and they will fool you. You are the elite. You are the elect that can be fooled by this stuff. And I'm telling you, don't be fooled by it. And the only way to not be fooled by it is to pay attention to the experiences that you are having. Maybe they are coming to you in the form of spiritual glimpses, dreams, pareidolias, synchronicities, and whatnot. Pay attention to these, learn about what they are, and grow in them to a point where you're able to just cast them out, throw them away. So you don't need them anymore because they have helped you build your strength and build your power to create the things that you want. So you don't need them anymore because now you have evolved to the point with confidence and patience and faith in knowing that you can do it. You've evolved to the point where you do not rely on a belief system. And that's all these things are. And these things are mainly directed to the seeker. In the beginning stages of your awakening, you are seeking. And coming up to your awakening, something in you starts a seeking process. And the seeking process will give you little clues and hints here and there in the form of synchronicities, revelations, dreams, mystical experiences. Spiritual glimpses will help you grow and evolve till you get to the point where you can toss these illusions. You will call them illusions when you come to the point that you're good at manifesting and creating the life that you want. But you will be able to toss away these things that are part of your seeking phase and just completely get rid of them and throw them in the garbage. From time to time, you may have the occasional synchronicity or pareidolia or revelations. Truly, if you are experiencing yourself from a spiritual awakening, I don't believe that the revelations will ever leave you. They may be few and far between, you know what I mean? And then sometimes they may come on strong and be rapid and continuous for, I don't know for how long, for 3-4 days, a week, maybe a month or something like that. But you have to experience yourself. And that's why I say that I wish it upon all young people. You know, when you get to that age of around 17, 18 years old, and you're ready to take the next step into becoming an adult, that I wish it upon you to have a spiritual awakening, to have a spiritual glimpse, to experience yourself in some way that will lead you on a road to understanding that you truly are the creative power of this world, and you can transform this world to however you want it to fit and however you want to experience it. Now, again, as I said, do it from a place of good, because you will experience everything. There is no limitation to spiritual growth and spirituality, and awareness has to be always with you, because if you're not aware of what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're acting, blah, 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 if you're not aware of that stuff, that's where you have setbacks and you have fails. but do it from a place of love and kindness, and do it from a place of good. And you will see this transformation first take place within you, and then everything that's taking place within you will reveal itself as taking place all around you and transform to your way of seeing things. Books are a wonderful avenue, as I said in the beginning, for doing this, because books allow you a visualization and an imaginative approach to seeing things that are not seen. And therefore, seeing things that are not seen also strengthens you and strengthens that creative power in you to be able to see the things you want that you don't have, and to know that you have them, and then see them come into your world out of thin air. And to recognize you are that imaginative and visual power that calls things that are unseen into being seen. I can't stress this enough when it comes to books. I think it's very important. And I really, truly believe that spirituality, in a sense, starts with the written word. And how that written word is, it can be in the form of a book. It can be a song. It could be, it's all over song lyrics. I can't even begin to explain to you that it's all over song lyrics. And as I said, maybe the author of those song lyrics is just writing a song and using the words that the world has instilled in them to use. But the message is coming from within. It is a spiritual message. It is God in him revealing something, whether the author sees it or not, but maybe revealing to you what you need to see in order to start your spiritual growth and your evolution spiritually. So it's everywhere. Song lyrics. I mean, I didn't prepare myself to share any song lyrics now, but they're everywhere. You pay attention, you could see them. And more often than not, you could probably cross-reference them if you understand the parallels and the metaphors and see it. You could probably cross-reference most of them with this book right here. Now, your church won't teach you that. Your scribes and your scholars who study these books for hundreds of thousands of years, they won't agree to that, and they won't show you that, and they maybe because they haven't seen it, right? But especially your organization, your religious organization, whatever you belong to, they will not condone that. They will not tell you that, yeah, you know what? God is in song lyrics. God is in poetry. God is in a short story. They won't show you that. But make no mistake about it. These creative people, these storytellers, these tale bearers, they are the doorway to you having an experience in life, possibly leading you to a spiritual awakening, where you will be able to understand what imagination is and how to use visualization. So don't toss books aside, and don't think that you're reading a book from a tablet or your cell phone, your Android or your Apple, because those are distractions. I highly recommend you go old school. I know it's kind of like a dying thing. It's all going out now with the internet and with everything being available on the internet. But if you can find a used bookstore, or if there's maybe like one or two popular bookstores still around today, go that route. Find books. And it doesn't matter if it's a picture book, or it doesn't matter if it's a written word, just no pictures, and it's all just like a novel, and it's that way. The picture book might not help so much with your imagination, because you'll see everything already displayed for you. But the reading aspect of it, when it's time, will help you with your spiritual growth. The other thing that I can say is that reading a book that has no pictures, that is a novel, and it's well written, and the story is captivating, that is enough to open your mind and your eyes and allow you to use the visualization process to see everything that the author, as like a movie, has written down, and you could see it frame by frame in your head. That may disappoint you if that book turns into a movie, because you know what? 9 times out of 10, there is not a single movie produced from a book that is accurate or sticks to the storyline. But in your head, it helps with the visualization. With your growth spiritually, it helps your visualization. If you know that book so well, and once you undergo a spiritual awakening, you may refer back to that book and see every spiritual part of that book that maybe the author themselves didn't see, but that book started speaking to you in a way and helping you grow spiritually. So I really do think books are important. And like I said, I would, if you're not ready for this book yet, but you will, I assure you, you will one day, then I suggest that you start with this book here. Because I think this book will pretty much be like a jump start to this book. And this book can also be looked at as a prequel to what you're about to experience when you're ready for this book. As a bonus, I want to share one more book with you. I wish I had the other one. I would have shared 2 more books with you by the same author. But as a bonus, I highly suggest, if you're into what can I call it? Satire. If you're into satire and you're into learning something different about the world and the experiences of the world, and especially what shapes the world in the form of religion and whatnot, I would highly recommend Mark Twain's Letters from the Earth. It is a wonderful book that I wish he could have finished. He gets up to a certain point in the book, and I think that's when his time came. That's when his expiration date arrived to carry him out of the world that he was living in. But he did leave us this book here that is filled with satire, and it is filled with also, again, like what I said, you can see the struggles of man, and you can somehow recognize the hurt and the pain that is coming through an author in their writing. And I think this is probably one of Mr. Twain's greatest books ever written. And it was, when I read it, to me, it felt like there was a hurt and a pain and a suffering that he was going through that kind of made him very cynical and very kind of distant from the author that most people were familiar with. I think this is a wonderful book in itself. And like I said, he didn't get a chance to finish it, but I would highly recommend this book. This is a great book. And just to sum it up, like, I don't want to ruin or spoil it for anyone here. It takes place in heaven with all the angels all around and God being the main person. And the way Mark Twain describes this God is you could feel the hurt and the kind of pain that is coming from him, because he makes him very egoic, makes him seem very larger than what he truly is. And he makes him feel almost insensitive and sociopathic in a sense. But it takes place in heaven, and it's about the creation of earth, and it's about all the angels curious about this creation that God has made and has separated them from the realm of heaven and created a place and a species that is supposed to be equal and as superior as God. And one of the angels decides to go and visit this place called Earth and send back letters to the other angels on what he discovers. And I highly recommend it. It's a really cool book. But you can definitely see the hurt and the pain that the author, whatever troubles were troubling him in his life, was going through. And I don't have the other book here. It's somewhere downstairs in a box or a bag or something like that. But the other book is called The Mysterious Stranger. And there are so many copies of that. And the protagonist or the anti-hero in the book is either identified by a number or by a name. And the name is usually Lucifer or Satan. I highly suggest the book where the protagonist is referred to as a number. I believe the number is 14, but don't quote me on that. But The Mysterious Stranger and Letters from the Earth, give them a shot. I don't think you will be disappointed. And I think it will help again visually and strengthening yourself for when that moment comes during your spiritual awakening. That's all I have to say about books, and I think the importance of them. And the main two important things of them is how to use your imagination, and two, the visualization process. Both of these things will help you to create the world and the life you want when you realize that you can imagine what is being said, and you can visualize everything in the story, and you will be able to recognize that when you come to that place of spiritual awakening, maybe prior to that, you'll have an experience, a spiritual glimpse of some kind that will help you understand that your imagination is God, and that your imagination is limitless, and you can create anything you want from it. And visualization, when you're able to see the unseen, then along with imagination, the unseen can manifest itself through you to become seen. But one last thing I want to add before I leave here is also that you need to change within. Start within. The changing process that takes place within is a reflection on the outside of what is taking place within you. So if that change is going on within you, transforming you to the better version of yourself and the creative power that you truly are, then everything around you will conform to your vision, to your visualization, to your imagination, to the feelings and emotions attached to that visualization and imagination that take place within, changing the within, reflecting the change on the outside. This is Nick. Thanks for joining me. This is Tea Talk. I'll see you next time.